everyone. We're going to just give it a couple seconds to let people join, and I know a lot of you are probably going to join not live, but after the fact, and so if you are joining us after, welcome. So this is Kavira Coalition's first online yoga class for farmers and ranchers. We actually did this for our farmer and rancher members during the Regenerate conference, and it was super popular, and so we decided to do some winter yoga series for people who do a lot of outdoor activity, maybe do a lot of sitting in tractors, all of those things. And so today what we're going to do is I'm going to go over some things about just generally how our body works and different exercises and stretches that we can do to stay healthy. If you're a farmer or rancher, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself, is I am the new agrarian program coordinator for the Kavira Coalition up in Billings, Montana. I have a sheep ranch myself, so I understand the injuries and the repetitive motions that we can do that end up hurting our body over time. And so I'm also a yoga instructor in Billings, and I've been doing that for about 10 years. And so I've started to create basically exercises based off yoga postures that help farmers and ranchers strengthen and stretch those parts of the body that we need to keep healthy and strong over time. And so today we're going to get started, and we're going to cover all of the bases today, and then the classes after this we might focus on one or two areas so we can really get good at those exercises. So it's something that you can do in the field, if you're in your tractor, wherever you're at. So it doesn't have to be something, you don't need yoga pants, you don't need a yoga mat. You can do these sorts of things anywhere that you are. One thing I tell people is it's really important that you don't think of, I hear a lot of students tell me like I'm good at something or I'm bad at something, like I'm not very flexible, I'm bad at stretching, and there's no such thing as good or bad in these exercises, so don't think about it like that. We can only start from where we are, and so everything that you do to keep your body healthy puts time in the bank for your body so that you can do the things that you love to do longer. And another thing is, think of this as part of your job. And so a lot of times we think of exercise as something sort of extra, but if you can incorporate it into your day, even if it's just 5 minutes every day, that's better than nothing. And so anything that's going to keep you healthier for your work should be part of the time that you spend and consider it your job. And so one of the things we're going to start with today is just basic breathing. And the thing about breathing is our body does it automatically, and so we don't think about it a lot. But a lot of times, most of us chest breathe. And what I mean by that is we breathe in the very top of our lungs. And so when we inhale, we're breathing pretty shallowly. And then when we exhale, we just breathe part of the air out. And what we need to really try to do is we need to start to breathe deeper into our lungs. So when you inhale, you want to feel your belly get bigger. We want to allow our body to expand. And then on your exhales, you want to make sure that you're breathing all of the air out of your lungs, not just part of the air out. And so that we can clear out our lungs with each breath. And so if you spend the time, just notice during the day how you're breathing. And I do it too all the time. Like most of the day, I feel like I'm just breathing right up here in the very top of my lungs. And so it's one of those things that you have to take control over, and you have to teach yourself how to breathe better. And so what we're going to do today is we're just going to practice the breathing deeper. And so you can be sitting on a chair, on the floor, on your couch, wherever is comfortable. And I want you to just allow, on your inhales through your nose, allow your ribs to expand outward. Allow your belly to get bigger. And even your back, you should feel the air put pressure in the back area. And so we're going to do 3 deep breaths together. We're going to try to do about 6 counts in and 6 counts out. So when you're ready, take a deep breath in through the nose, filling up your lungs all the way to the top. You're going to hold it there for a moment. Then you're going to open your mouth and exhale all of the air out. All right, second one, inhale through the nose, a deeper breath this time. So we're gonna hold it there at the top. Even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, just keep it there. And then open your mouth and exhale all of the air out of your lungs. All right, last one. Inhale through the nose for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your mouth and exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Doing that once a day, just 3 really deep breaths, will get your nervous system used to it, and you might be able to start breathing deeper throughout the day. And so just keep that in mind. Breathing is your number one job. Trying not to chest breathe, trying to pull the air in a little bit deeper. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is our spine and spinal movements. And to keep our spine healthy, we have to move it in all of the different ways it can move. And so for a lot of farmers and ranchers, we are doing a lot of forward bending. And so a lot of things happen there. Your shoulder muscles get stretched. Your chest muscles get contracted. Your spine is used to a forward flexion, but not so much a backward flexion. And so our body gets used to being in that sort of hunched over position, and that is really uncomfortable, and we end up with tight necks, we end up with tight shoulders, we end up with weak chest muscles and strong chest muscles and less developed shoulder muscles in the back. And so when we are looking at exercises that are important for farmers and ranchers, the first one is we want to be able to move our spine in all of the different ways. And so what we're going to start with is a forward and backward flexion of our spine. And we're going to do that through some cat-cows. And you can do this in any position you would like to. So you can stay seated, cross-legged. You can sit on your chair if you have a chair or a couch. You can also be on your hands and knees in a tabletop position. So I want you to pick whatever you would like to do, whatever is most comfortable for you. And remember, you can do this sitting in your tractor, you can do it sitting in your truck. So wherever you're at, if you're seated, just put your hands on your knees. If you're on your hands and knees, you'll just stay right there. So we're gonna all take a deep breath in through the nose. And then on your exhale, I want you to round your spine backwards and tuck your chin to your chest. You should feel a protraction of your shoulder blades. And then on your inhale, allow your chest to come forward, shoulders to come back, and you can look up if that is comfortable for you. And then exhale, round your spine. And then inhale, bring your chest forward, shoulder heads roll away from your face, look up. Okay, so at your own pace with your breath, I want you to just keep moving through some cat-cows. So forward flexion, backward flexion. Our back bends, we don't do very many of those, so that's super important. And moving with your breath. So you're inhaling your chest forward, and then you're exhaling as you round your spine. Remember, you can do this just about anywhere. You don't have to be on a yoga mat to do these exercises. All right, so we got the forward and back motion happening. The next thing we're going to do is a lateral flexion, which is side to side. We want to try to keep our spine from twisting here. And so again, you can do this on your chair if you're seated, or you can just sit on the floor in a cross-legged position. So if the crossing of the legs is not something that you're able to do, you're just going to sit on your couch or the chair. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our right hand up to the side, and we're going to inhale our left arm up. So on your exhale, I want you to just take a side bend, very gentle side bend. And you're still opening your left shoulder up towards the back. So we're trying to keep the spine bending directly to the side without twisting. And then you want to make sure you're pushing your left sit bone into the floor so that you're not letting your left hip come up. You're really stretching through your left arm, feeling the length in the side, breathing into your left rib cage. And then slowly come back to the center. All right, now we're going to bring our left hand down. Inhale your right arm up. I know it's probably opposite on the screen, but that's okay. You guys understand the difference between left and right? And when you're ready, so you're going to inhale up out of your waist, and then exhale, take a side bend. So again, you're pressing your right sit bone down towards the floor, lifting up through your right rib cage, bringing your right shoulder back. Really stretching through your right arm. And slowly come back to your center. All right, so we did forward, backward, and side flexion. Now we need to twist our spine, and we want to just be super gentle with it. There's no need to crank into anything. The most important thing about spinal twists is that we keep our spine long and that we're not hunching over when we do it. So don't worry about how deep your twist is. So you can do this again on a chair or couch, sitting sort of towards the edge of the chair, just so that you can maintain a long spine. And the next thing we're going to do is our twist. So you're going to, no matter where you're doing this, you're going to bring your right hand to your left knee, left hand to the floor or the chair behind you, and you're going to sit up, lift up through your inhale, and then exhale, take a gentle twist, looking over your shoulder. Now, if this hurts your neck at all, then you're not going to crank over your shoulder. You're just going to look straight to the side. There's no need to overdo anything. If anything ever hurts, that's not something you should be doing. So every inhale, you are lengthening your spine. Every exhale, you are twisting. All right, slowly come back to the center. Left hand to your right knee, right hand to the floor behind you. We're going to inhale, lift, and lengthen. Exhale, and twist. So nice, gentle twists. No need to crank anything, go too far. If your breathing feels like you can't go very deep, maybe you're going too far in your twist. So remember, your breathing is your number one concern. Everything else follows from that. All right, exhale, slowly come back to center. Okay, so those 4 motions with our spine is something that we should be doing every day. You should be forward flexing, backward flexing into a back bend, lateral flexion, both sides, and twisting. So the important thing with the series is that we do simple exercises that you can remember, that you can do anywhere you are. And so that's why I'm explaining this as we go. And so you can sit there and go, okay, yeah, I need to move my spine these 4 directions every day. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stretch our lower back after we did the spinal twists. And you can again do this on the chair. I'm going to demonstrate it on the chair first. So you're going to sit towards the end of the chair, and then all you're going to do is you're going to round down, maybe wrap your arms underneath your legs, tuck your chin to your chest, and maybe you can relax your forehead to your knees. Maybe not. It's totally up to where you can go today. If you're on the floor in a cross-legged position, you're just going to walk your hands forward and then allow your head to hang heavy. So one thing while you're in this position, so stay there, I'm just going to talk for a few seconds here. Your nervous system remembers everything that has ever happened to you. And so if you were injured, if you do repetitive motions, your nervous system remembers that, and therefore it works extra hard to prevent those injuries from happening again. And so in terms of our flexibility, a lot of times it isn't always tied to the length of our muscles. It is sometimes tied to the memory of your nervous system and preventing you from putting yourself in a situation where you're going to get injured. So it seizes up and it's like, no, okay, that's where we're going to stop. And so when you're in these stretching postures that you're in, like you're rounding your spine, stretching your lower back, you have to use your breathing to calm down your nervous system to allow you to stretch a little bit more into the posture. When you exhale, your nervous system naturally relaxes. And so when you move a little bit deeper into a posture, I want you to do it on your exhales, not your inhales. All right, you can slowly come out of that forward stretch. And then the next thing we're going to talk about is our abdominal wall and why that's super important that we do exercises to keep it strong and toned. You only have 5 vertebrae connecting your lower skeletal structure to your upper skeletal structure, and that's not very many vertebrae. And so those 5 vertebrae take on a ton of burden in our physical activity. In order to help protect our lower back, our lumbar area where those vertebrae are, we have to have a stronger abdominal wall, these muscles that wrap around our vertebrae to protect them. If your abdominal muscles are weak, then those vertebrae will take on even more pressure, more stress, more burden. And so a lot of times our sore lower backs are indicative of that we need to strengthen our core muscles. And it's not fun for anyone. Like no one likes to do crunches, and so we're not actually going to do crunches today, but I'm going to show you some exercises that will help strengthen your abdominal wall to help protect your lower back. This isn't about 6 packs. This is about protecting your lower back and keeping it healthy. And so what we're going to do, this one does involve us laying on the floor, and so hopefully this is something you can do in your house. And during nice days, you can do it out in the field. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay down on the floor. And if you have, let me scoot back, move my dog out of the way. If you have a block or a pillow or anything, this helps us keep control, makes us move a little bit slower. You don't have to use one, but if you do have something, you're going to put it on top of your shins. And you're going to bring your knees directly over your hips. And so we got a couple things going on here. Our core is stabilizing our legs. Our hip flexors are pulling our knees in towards our chest. We're going to talk about hip flexors a little bit too. And so we're working a lot of our core strength here. We're going to bring our arms by our side. Now, if your lower back is giving you any trouble, We want to make sure our sacrum is really pressed into the ground and your front ribs are pulled into your spine. And you can bring your hands underneath your hips a little bit to help yourself with a foundation. And so all we're going to do here is we're going to straighten our legs to a hover off the floor and then bring your knees back towards your chest. And so again, you do not need to place anything on your shins. You can just do this keeping your legs as tight together as you can. And so in this motion, we are strengthening our abdominal wall to protect our lower back. And we are also strengthening your hip flexors as we pull our knees in towards our chest. It's a very simple motion that does a lot for your body. So what do we need our hip flexors for? We need our hip flexors for stepping up into tractors, stepping into a stirrup. So as you age, you notice that it's harder to get your foot into the stirrup, and a lot of times we think that's flexibility, but it's actually most of the time that our hip flexors have gotten weak, and so it's hard for us to step up than it used to be. So you use your hip flexors when you walk upstairs. Anytime you're stepping forward and lifting your knee up, you're using that hip flexion. And so we really need to make sure that we keep our hip flexors strong. And I'm already feeling this. I can feel like I'm having a little bit a hard time breathing and talking at the same time, which is good. So hopefully if you're doing this, you're starting to feel it as well. And remember, you just take a break whenever you need to. We always work up in things, so if you can only do it for 5-6 seconds, that's okay. Maybe the next day you can do it for about 10 seconds. All right, for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to release the legs down. Oh, take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. That was actually quite a bit of work. And so that just helps us build our abdominal wall muscles. There's a bunch of different exercises we can do, and we will do for the next couple of months. So that's a good one to start with. All right, so the next one we're going to do is we're going to bring our knees back over our hips. Flex your feet, arms parallel to the ground. So you can stay right here, or you can bring your upper body off the mat just a little bit, keeping your palms parallel to the floor. Arms parallel to the floor. So sometimes this can be a little too much for people just with the neck lifted and the tension. And so if you start to feel like it hurts in the neck, then I want you to just bring your upper body back down towards the floor. So here we're curling up. We've got our front ribs knitted in together. Our abdominal wall is fully engaged. Your breathing is normal. We're going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then stretch it out. Woo, okay, take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. All right, so now we're gonna stretch our hip flexors and our quads a little bit after that. So if you have something on your shins, you can ditch that block. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bend our left knee, so the sole of your left foot is flat on the floor. And then you're just gonna bring your right foot underneath your knee and grab onto your foot with your left hand. And then slowly let your right knee fall towards the floor. So we're stretching the front of our right hip and our quad. So after you do some work on strengthening, we still wanna stretch it out a little bit. And remember, as you're breathing, you might even put your right hand on your belly so that you can feel your belly rise on your inhale. Can be as relaxed as my dog there on the couch. And then we're going to switch, so bend your right knee, and then bring your left foot underneath your right leg, grab onto your left foot, and gently let your left knee fall towards the floor. So we should feel our stretch in the front of our left hip, our left quad, And you can move your foot around to see where you're going to get the best stretch. If your knee doesn't come all the way to the ground, it's totally okay. Just be very careful with your knees. All right, everyone, slowly release. Bend both knees. All right, now you can use your hands to sit up. Just push them on the ground and sit up. Or if you want to do a little bit more core work, you can stretch your arms forward. Oh, and just sit up into a seated position. Okay, so now we're going to do some more on our hip flexors because they're so, so important. So a lot of times we mistake weakness for tightness. So people are like, oh, I've got tight hips. I've got really tight hips. That can be true, but a lot of times our hip flexors are just really weak and we mistake that feeling for tightness. And so to be able to move your hips in all the directions that we need to move our legs, we need to have strong muscles to move our legs. And a lot of times those muscles are pretty weak. And so we end up thinking it's tightness, and it's not exactly. So we're going to do a couple more exercises to help us strengthen the muscles around our hips. I'm also going to figure out what time it is. Okay, so you can do this on your chair or you can do this on the floor. If you're on the floor, you're going to bend your left knee, just in a comfortable position, or you can leave it straight wherever you need to put it. And then we're going to bend our right knee and kind of grab onto your right shin. Then you can bring your hands behind you and just kind of lean back. And what we're going to do here is you're going to bring your right knee towards your chest. You can feel your hip flexors already. And then you're going to open your knee out to the side. And then you're going to bring your knee back and then straighten the leg. Okay, so that's your movement. You bring your knee in, open, close, straighten. In, open, close, straighten. In, open, close, straighten. Very quickly you will feel the muscles around your pelvis start to get tired. I want you to notice that and how important those muscles are. So we're working on our hip mobility here. It's not fun exactly, but when you know why you're doing it, it makes it a lot easier to do. That's super important for me. Like if I'm going to do an exercise, I need to know why I'm doing it. And so that's why I'm explaining a lot today. Okay, I do this all the time and my leg is tired right now. So there you go. Okay, and release. As you build strength in your hip flexors, your quad is going to stop tightening up so much. So right now, because most of our quads are developed and strong, you're going to feel that mostly in your quad. As your hip flexors strengthen, your quad will just be there to stabilize. It won't be taking the burden of the exercise. Okay, so the next one, we're going to keep our right knee bent or keep it straight, however you want to do it, and pull your left knee in towards your chest, and then drop your hands behind you. I'm going to turn a little bit for this one. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, bring your knee into your chest, open out to the side. Now we're not trying to open our hips, so don't worry about how high or how open your knee is. And then back to the center, straighten the leg, and if you need to drop it, drop it. If you can keep it hovering, keep it hovering. So knee in, open, close, straighten. In, open, close, straighten. I can already feel it. So just do as many as you can. If you're new to this is the first time you've ever done it, sometimes our leg doesn't come up very high, and that's totally normal, totally fine. These are muscles that we don't often get a lot of attention, so they start out kind of weak, but you'd be amazed at how quickly you can strengthen them. I can't even tell if anyone's watching. So if you're there, hi. If not, hopefully you're watching later, and hello. Okay, so my hips are tired. My hip flexors are tired, so I'm gonna stop now. And then straighten one more time and release. All right, now we're gonna bring the soles of our feet together. Let your knees open up wide, sit up nice and tall. Now we're going to try to keep our spine long as we slowly begin to bend our elbows down. So you're keeping your chest forward. All right, and slowly release. Okay, so let's cover what we've done. We've learned how to breathe better. We've moved our spine in all the directions. We have done a little bit with our core, but we're going to work our way into that over the next couple months. And we have strengthened our hip flexors, which are important for, like I said, stepping up into anything, stepping up into a stirrup, a tractor, stepping upstairs, anything like that. Those are our hip flexors, and we need strong hip flexors. If your hip flexors are weak, guess what takes the burden is your back, which is why our backs are sore all the time, is that we don't have a strong enough core to help our back out. And the next thing we're going to do, one of the most important things, is our glutes. And so our butts are really strong. They should be strong. They can do a lot, but a lot of times we don't use them the way we should be. And you're probably wondering, that doesn't make any sense. Don't our muscles just fire up when we need them to? And they don't. So if you sit a lot, whether it's in a tractor, whether it's on a horse, whether it's on a four-wheeler, if you spend a lot of time during the day just in a seated position, your glutes are lengthened and relaxed. And so in that rounded space. And so when you need them, when you need to step up and have some balance, when you need to pick something up, a lot of times they are asleep, is what I like to say. So they're like, oh shoot, do you need me? Oh, I'm not awake. And so what we need to do is we need to remember, or we need to work our glutes in a way so that they can be activated when they're needed. And so we're going to do a couple things today to help you do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to just get on our side in a comfortable position. So you can just relax your head in your hand. And I want you to just bend both knees and keep your heels together. And then I want you to just open your right knee up. So now we're working our gluteus medius, which is the side butt muscle right here. So you can actually feel it if you put your thumb right here on your hip in the back. And so our gluteus medius is a lot of times very weak. There's not a lot of things that we do that strengthen it. So it's important to do these really targeted exercises. So you're opening your knee up. You're not falling backwards. So if you feel like you're starting to sway back and forth, you're trying to lift your knee too high. So even if your knee only goes a little bit up, that's okay, because you're still engaging your gluteus medius. I like to keep my hand on my hip with my thumb sort of dug in, just so I can start to feel the engagement. Another thing to know here is you're abducting. You're opening your leg up. When you close your leg, you're adducting, using your inner thigh. So the gluteus medius, a couple things as we're doing this, just for you to know. It is your stabilizer muscle. So when you're balancing, so when you step up onto a stair, you have a moment where you're on one foot. The gluteus medius helps you balance. It also helps you open the leg up. So those are the two sort of main functions of this muscle. Super important for your balance as you get older. All right, I think that's enough. So we're gonna open your knee, and I just want you to hold it for 5, 4, heels touch, 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay. All right, we're gonna stay on our left side. Now I just want you to straighten your front leg. Flex your right foot. And then all we do is lift our leg up and down. Very simple motion. Again, getting into the side glute here. If you do this enough, you'll eventually start to feel it. Ooh, we're almost getting to the end. It goes so quick. All right, and now release. Okay, we're gonna switch sides. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other. Okay, so just relax your head in your hand. Bend both knees. Heels touch. Open your left knee and drop. Now you're gonna notice that one side is a little bit easier than the other. Like for me, this side I can't open as much. It's probably a combination of strength and flexibility, like it usually is. But again, I'm not trying to focus on how high I can open my knee because I don't want to be rocking back and forth. I want my lower belly and pelvis to be stable. Just want the rotation to happen in my hip. And keeping our heels to touch. Again, if I was just telling you to do this and I didn't tell you why, it would be less probably motivating. But now that you know that this muscle that we're working helps you balance and helps you open your leg up, the abduction, it makes it a lot more like, okay, I'm strengthening this muscle for these reasons. Because I want to be able to walk upstairs and not lose my balance. Remember, balancing as we get older is one of those things that people lose. If you keep these muscles strong, it's going to be a lot easier. Okay, I think we're good. Now we're going to straighten our left leg out, flex your left foot, and just lift straight up and down. And we're going to be working on balance in this series as well a little bit later on after we kind of figure out how all the muscles work together. And notice I'm doing this in jeans, so remember you don't have to have a yoga mat, you don't have to have yoga pants. This is all just kind of a combination of exercises that you should be able to do just about anywhere. All right, everyone, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, release. And slowly come up. All right, so we are coming towards the end of class today, and we didn't get to the gluteus maximus, we just did the gluteus medius, and so next class we will focus on the larger butt muscle, and we'll talk about the gluteus minimus too, and what we need to do to strengthen that. So we're going to just end class with a little bit of breathing. You can sit in a comfortable seated position, or you can just lay on your back in your normal Shavasana with your arms by your side, palms face up, let your toes fall open, so whatever position is comfortable for you. So we're just going to do 3 deep breaths to end class with, and then we'll be done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you. We're going to do it every other Wednesday starting this week, and we're going to do it through March and see how it goes. So, all right, our breathing exercise. Everyone take a deep breath in through your nose, filling up your lungs all the way to the top. Open your mouth and exhale all of the air out. Inhale through the nose, a deeper breath this time. Open your mouth and exhale all of the air out. Last one, inhale through the nose. We're going to hold it for just a little bit longer, even if it's uncomfortable. Let your belly get bigger. Open your mouth and exhale all of the air out. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. Remember, breath. Move your spine in all directions. Make sure you have strong hip flexors and strong glutes to help protect your lower back. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Namaste.